Hi, it's Dave. In this video, I'm going to share an update on my summer RV trip and what's going on behind the scenes in my life. So in mid-June, my family and I departed on an epic summer RV trip in our small 25-foot motorhome. For me, I didn't consider it a vacation, but rather more of trying out a lifestyle and a mission. I've been determined to give a deeper connection to nature and the world to my kids, but to also instill values of curiosity and exploration. I think our modern world has minimized nature and has conveniently either pushed it out of our lives or sanitized it. In urban settings, we have building after building and concrete upon concrete. Even in suburban settings, nature is relegated to parks and manicured lawns. And our kids, for the most part, grow up without living with the awe and wonder of nature. Kids can think they're the king of the world and nothing disturbs them. They've got their TV and their video games and their toys, but there's something distorted about it all. I think when we strip our lives of the wonder and the power of nature, we're left with more of a human-centered world, and it's easy for our paradigm to become more self-centered. Anyways, our first major stop on our trip was the Grand Canyon for a week. Most people spend a day or two in the Grand Canyon, but we decided to spend a significant time soaking in things. Every day I took my kids to gaze at the Grand Canyon from various points, sometimes eating lunch and dinner overlooking the canyon. And I loved how it stirred so many questions from my kids. When my 5-year-old is at home, sometimes playing with Legos, I can tell he feels like he's on top of the world, controlling his world. But at the Grand Canyon, I could see him getting in touch with his smallness and the grandness of the world and the universe around him. And I could tell seeds of humility were being planted in him, and that's priceless. But COVID also threw off a lot of our travel plans. We were supposed to spend most of August in Canada visiting Banff and Jasper National Parks, but the border was closed, so we had to make a detour and spend more time in Montana and Idaho, where we found gorgeous state campgrounds. I also think it was good for us to be traveling during COVID because it was counterculture. The prevalent thought of most people was to avoid travel and to stay at home, but traveling in an RV was probably one of the safest places to be during COVID. We had our own bathroom, shower, kitchen, refrigerator, and beds. We just needed gas and supplies, and most of the campsites we stayed at were well spaced from others. One of our other highlights was spending 2 weeks in Yellowstone National Park. Getting internet was a huge challenge because we were staying at campgrounds with little or no cell reception. Often I had to take out my portable satellite dish and spend an hour or so setting it up and pointing it at the exact satellite I needed to get internet. When it worked, it was great, but sometimes I couldn't get it to work, and those were the times where I wish I had Starlink. Starlink and a Tesla RV, man, that would be something. My kids had a blast at Yellowstone checking out the animals like bison and elk and deer, and they also enjoyed the geysers all over the park. My kids are still quite young, ages 2 and 5, so we had our hands full, but they quickly adapted and found their home in nature. We'd often have a campfire, eating dinner outside and then cooking some popcorn. It's hard to beat a nice campfire and popcorn under the trees on a starry night. I'm glad my kids weren't just introduced to that, but got to experience it as a lifestyle for a few months. After visiting many national parks, state parks, and various campgrounds all throughout Utah, Wyoming, Montana, and Idaho for 2 months, we had to cut our trip short. My mom in Southern California was experiencing a health crisis, and we needed to go down to help. Over the past several years, my mom has had episodes every few months where her health would deteriorate rapidly, both mentally and physically, and she would often end up in the ER. Unfortunately, these episodes are getting more intense and serious over time, and it's been on my mind a lot. I've been spending a lot of time reading and researching as to what might be the cause and if there are any solutions. Anyways, I'm thankful for our summer travels, and I'm sure I'll remember them for a very long time. The cool thing is my wife and kids loved it as much as I did, and they want to continue traveling in an RV. My 5-year-old is dying to take another long RV trip. So for the time being, we're doing a lot of local RV camping at beaches nearby. Recently, we've spent about a week at our house, but for some reason we feel constrained, like it boxes us in and away from the world. Sure, it's convenient and comfortable, but unfortunately it's not adventurous and there's something missing. Anyways, I hope you guys are doing well. In the comment section, I'd love to hear how your summer has been. Until next time, stay well.